Hey everyone, so this big old pile right here of printed things is my digital pages come to life for my June books that I've read. I had a really good month with reading and I read some really awesome books. I read a kid book called The Wild Robot and I decided to make an insert for that, which is on this acetate, Born to be Wild. And then I also made an insert for another book that I absolutely loved, Drive. I'll probably cut it down because I think it's too big, but I used an image from a book reviewer, Christy. I'll leave her information. I've used her graphics before. And then I also read the graphic novel adaptation of The Handmaid's Tale, and I listened to this book, which was absolutely incredible. I love her reading the book. I love her style. It's just amazing. And so I'm gonna put all these pages together so I can continue documenting the books that I've enjoyed throughout the month of June. I hope you stick around and watch me bring these pages to life. All right, so I'm gonna start with the June overview page and I am gonna place my journaling cards on top. When I print this out, I include the spots where the journaling cards are going to go. It's mainly for placement and that way I know. It might be considered a waste of paper, maybe, I don't know, but for me it works. That way I know where things go. And also that way printing the journaling cards gives me a little bit more dimension. So I'm adding a bunch of these heart speech bubbles that are from Kellie Stamps. I took an In a Creative Bubble card, the Weekend is All booked. I took that card and I changed the colors to match the different colors of the books that I read. Hope that makes sense. So I took that as my color scheme and then also used that same color scheme when I was changing the colors of the speech bubbles. So I thought that was a fun touch. I am digging through my Colorcast Design acrylics to see if I can pull out some stars that match, and I do find a few. And that wraps up that little spread. I am going to now start with The Wild Robot, the children's book that I read. I made 2 custom pattern papers, as you can see there. I made the bottom one, which is gray, and I put a bunch of leaves on it. And I only did the little section that I knew was going to be seen. And then I did another brush underneath that said Home Sweet Home. And I made that a different shade of green, so that way it would stand out a little bit. And I really liked making my own custom papers. I was trying to find something that would work in my digital stash and nothing was, so I decided to make my own. I did use that green vine strip from a Feed Your Craft kit, so I used that as the bottom. And then the images that I found of the animals marching and then the 3 little images at the top were found, I think, on the internet. If I have the link, I will leave the link, but I really loved those little images. This book has so many wonderful themes of friendship, acceptance, working together. It's just a really good book if you want to read it with your children. So many good messages about working together and just all getting along and accepting something that might be different, like the robot in this case, and just working together. It's just so good, so good. I'm so glad I read it. So I'm adding in some enamel dots, and then I will be almost finished with this spread. I will also add in my acetate transparency that says Born to be Wild and has some more of the vines. You can see it right there. So this one is done. Love, love, love that spread. And I just love the book. I can't say it enough. So the next spread I'm going to do is about a book called Two Can Keep a Secret. I liked the book, but the first one was better. I think the first one was called One of Us is Lying. I liked that one better. So this one, I am just adding a red paper behind and then I think it's a gingham print. I'm going to add that behind it. And then for the other book, Drive, I love that one. It was a romance novel and she basically takes a cross-country trip to kind of rediscover her love of her husband. She never stopped loving him, but she just kind of rediscovered it through a playlist of songs, and you get a flashback of their love story. Punch in the holes here on the vellum insert, and then I'm going to add in a few little embellishments. I have a play symbol from Kellie Stamps. I'm going to pop dot that. And then I also have an LE Studio puffy sticker that I'm going to add in a little bit. I'm also going to stamp read this and then a gray star, and also must read. I'm going to stamp those few little things, and then I'm going to fussy cut those out and then add them to my pages. So this one was mainly Kellie Stamps that I used, and then a few other little things from LE Studio. And then I had that cassette tape that I really wanted to add, and I couldn't figure out where to add it, but I finally did up in the little corner, and I'm just going to add some hearts to make a little cluster. So there we go. Adding that star right there, just because I wanted a little more focus on the book. So that's why I had the read this and the star. And I also added in the X's digitally. So pretty simple pages, but I really like how they came together, especially the insert on Drive. I loved that one. I just grabbed a bunch of music-themed brushes from Kellie Stamp and just added them. And like I said in the introduction video, the image of the two people is from Christy. So there you go. This one is done. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so this is The Handmaid's Tale. Once again, I found some images while I was looking, and I actually found some images of the actual book. I think it was probably a blog review or something. If I have the source, I will link it. But man, I loved this book. It was incredible. Wow. The drawings were incredible. The graphic novel adaptation, just incredible. Absolutely loved it. I also added one of the photos that I found was the women in the beds. And so I could not resist adding a little phrase there that said, well, this is some BS right here, because, whew, yes, it was. Okay, and then I also used up some X's from Feed Your Craft. I was just cutting apart some of those. I'm going to cut up a few of those and sprinkle them throughout my page, and then a few LE Studio stars to kind of wrap up this little spread. Man, this book was good. Also had a strip up at the top of digital words from Kellie Stamps. So just added in those. I actually wound up slowing myself down as I was reading this graphic novel, because it was just really good and captivating and horrifying at the same time. So yeah, I slowed myself down so I would take longer to read it. All right, that one was done, and now I'm moving on to a romance novel called Fix Her Up. And this one, I took some In a Creative Bubble cards and I extended them, doubled them, and I added a little strip on the right side, so that way there could be some continuity, but I made it kind of crooked and it didn't quite turn out how I wanted it, but that's okay. So I have this blue strip that I extended, and then I have the Currently Loving that I kind of extended, and then all the paint strokes, those are from Kellie Stamps. All the other digital phrases are from Kellie Stamps. And this book, Fix Her Up, was actually my first win from Goodreads, a giveaway. I've been on Goodreads for years and years, and I've entered a few giveaways here and there, not consistently, but this was my first win, so it was very exciting. I am also going to wind up adding in 2 wood veneer sayings from Colorcast Designs, Reading Now, and then Hangover, because I had a book hangover. And I'm once again going to add some enamel dots. That's just my easy go-to embellishment, to just add something to the page. What's your go-to embellishment? Do you have a go-to embellishment? If you do, I'd love to hear what your go-to embellishment is. Maybe give me some new ideas. I also like to use stamped sentiments to add to the page as well. So just figuring out where that reading now I want, and then I'll add an enamel dot. I didn't really like where that enamel dot ended up, but that's okay. All right, that one is done. Moving on to the next one. I discovered a new graphic novel series called Miss Marvel, and it is about a teenager who is Muslim American, and she winds up getting into this green mist and turns into a superhero, and she is incredible. So I take a mix of In a Creative Bubble cards, and I change them in Photoshop Elements using different overlays and color burns and that kind of stuff. And I just layer them behind this cover because I really wanted to emphasize the book cover and using the colors in her scarf. So that's what I did. And then I took a wood veneer and I put currently and then pop dotted 2 Kellie Stamps phrases that say girl boss. Because let me tell you, Miss Marvel is a girl boss. I think she's just kicking some booty, and I just love this series. So good. Also going to add in a few wood veneer stars, and then I'll move on to the right-hand side of the spread. So this was a book called Roomies. I actually read a ton of Christina Lauren. It's actually a duo, I think. I read a ton of their books during 2019. This one wasn't my favorite, but I still liked it. And the cover was like a weird blue. Well, weird blue in the sense that it was hard to work with. So I just changed it to black and white, and I went with a fun pink, purple, black color scheme. And I also, once again, took In a Creative Bubble cards and I overlaid them to make the purple polka dotted kind of card that you see. And then I am going to lay the journaling card, or not the journaling card, the book cover on top. And then I'm going to add a large pink speech bubble and then a few wood veneer hearts and call that one done. So super easy and came together pretty quick, which is the whole point of these book spreads, is to come together quick. All right, moving on to the last spread for June, which is this one that I listened to, and it was absolutely incredible. I took some brushes in Photoshop Elements. It's considered a shape, so I took that and I just did some splatters and different colors across both pages. And also going to add in 2 Kellie Stamps phrases, one that says your only limit is you, and then another one that says no bad vibes, and I'm going to pop dot both of those. Also added in a little phrase that says start somewhere, which I thought fit perfect with this book. This was such an incredible book about a young lady finding her voice and really a coming of age story, and just navigating the changes as she became from a teenager to more of a woman. So it was a really awesome book, and like I said in my introduction, the author reads the book, so definitely a cool book to listen to. I'm also pulling out some of my Colorcast Designs acrylics again. I'm going to use 2 butterflies. I think those were the last of the butterflies, so yay, it's done. And June Books is finished. I had it sitting around for months, and I should have finished it a long time ago, but I didn't. I have my opening page with all the little heart bubbles, heart speech bubbles. Then the wild robot and a transparency. 2 can keep a secret, a vellum insert for drive, which I loved. And this is the book. The Handmaid's Tale, the graphic novel, was very interesting. Then this one, really inhaled this book. I loved it. It was so good. I split this blue paper down both sides. It works. It's done, and that's what's most important always, right? Documented. And then this one, I loved this new comic book series, Miss Marvel. And I read another Christina Lauren, Roomy. And then the last one is The Poet X that I listened to. So that is my June books. I hope you enjoyed watching this process video. I love documenting my books. I'm not sure if I'll do this format in 2020, which is where we're at now, because I let myself get so far behind for 2019, but I am definitely gonna try my best to finish 2019 and then do a simpler format for 2020. So, like I said, hope you enjoyed watching this. I'd love a thumbs up, or if you're new to my channel, a subscribe would be awesome. So thanks for watching. Bye.